Welcome to Mindflow Radio.
Mindflow Radio.
She's Jaylyn.
And he is Monty.
So buckle your seatbelts and get ready to take a trip towards reality.
And here we are in October 2025.
An auspicious month.
Yeah, because it's my birthday.
10-4, good buddy.
Yeah, I'm going to be a 49er. I don't even know what that stands for, but I know it's a thing. Do you know what it is?
The 49. Yeah, there were people who went out west to pan for gold and stuff. The gold rush, the 49ers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so you're...
A 49er. That is so funny, too, because in astrology, it would be the second house focus for the year. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Very cool. Glad I asked.
So what kind of gold are you going to be looking for?
The real gold. The real gold of inner peace, inner stability.
That's cool.
Inner knowing.
That's it.
Aligning with values and feeling purposeful.
It's interesting. One of my new sayings is, just finding moments of peace in our minds throughout the day is key to our mental health. And then I believe that those moments of peace are golden. They're really the what we're looking for. Mm-hmm. If we want to find that balance. Yeah, so moments of peace are definitely golden.
Yeah, agreed.
Definitely golden, and particularly in this age.
Yeah.
Right? We're getting more and more into this place of people are just consuming more and more data.
Yeah,
more and more information, more and more data, more misinformation, whatever. Just more people trying to sell us stuff, trying to take advantage of us, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's just it's mind-boggling.
Agreed, yeah.
And it's addictive. It's interesting, like staring at these phones and whatnot. It's an addictive habit.
It's just starting to be revealed or understood what it's actually doing because, the young people of now is the first group of people who have been raised on it. So it's pretty interesting, the new studies and data being revealed.
That's why it's so important for people like myself, I think, to just hold the line of having some clarity in my mind.
Right. And how to even get clarity. I know that the theme that we were thinking about was talking about the yin yang and what that even means for each of us. And, in Libra season, it's when the first day of Libra season, which is past now, and it was the first day of Libra season was also a new moon eclipse a couple weeks ago. And, but the first day of Libra season is always the day of balance where the light and the dark are equal. And after Libra season in the northern hemisphere, the darkness starts to gain influence until the beginning of Capricorn season. So for the next 3 months, it's getting darker every day. And I definitely feel that being a Libra. I've always enjoyed spring better, where the days are getting longer instead of the nights getting longer. But as a Libra, it's you just got to accept it and enjoy it the best you can. But I thought, considering that is the main sign of October that we could talk about. What is the yin yang?
Yeah. I mean, well, yin yang, it's a Taoist symbol, right? And for years, I've believed that it represents, like the light represents spirit, and the dark represents matter. And a yin yang perhaps is a symbol that represents a balanced human being, where I'm in touch with my spiritual nature, but I'm also in touch with my material reality as well. So they work together, and even in my, in the light, there's a dot of black, in the black, there's a dot of white, and it flows together. And I think that represents a human being who is in harmony with reality. The reality being that, we each have that spark of the divine within us. That's a big part of us. That is us, perhaps. But we're also living in this material world where material things matter too. And so just for me, it's about balance between the spirit and the material realities. And it really helps me quite a bit because as I walk into a quick trip, for example, I'm working on my material self. I'm trying to have good posture, a lot of the time at least. I'm trying to have good posture. I'm trying to breathe fully and effectively. But I'm also trying to work on the spiritual aspect of life. And I'm trying to see everybody. I'm trying to see the spark of the divine within everyone in the store. So I'm trying to, as I'm walking through Quick Trip, I'm trying to be that balance between spirit and matter. So I'm trying to manifest it or
embody it.
Yeah, embody it. Just realize it. And when I do get there, which I do some of the time, I just feel so much better.
Yeah, right.
I feel great. And I feel like I'm helping the vibration of the people around me too, by just seeing the divine in them. I don't care who they are. It's like we each have that spark of the divine in us. And from that perspective, I feel like all of us have something, everybody has something to teach me.
Sometimes it's what not to do and what not to be.
Right. But everybody I see who's alive is a survivor. It's like they have their survival story. And nowadays it's rough because a lot of people are homeless. A lot of people are on, hooked to really, to drugs that are really harmful, like the meth stuff. And I mean, both of us, we work in that field. Yeah. We work with people who are struggling, but I still see the divine in them. And I know they have something to teach. They're survivors, they've made it so far, and I mean, and ultimately we all make it. That's another aspect of the yin yang, is that we all have that spark of the divine, and we'll, at least according to the Lotus Sutra, we'll all become enlightened someday. So if you can really believe that, then there's nothing to worry about. Then it's just, okay, we'll all get there. We're all on the path. It might take somebody 1,000 lifetimes from now. It might take them this lifetime. You just don't know, but...
Yeah, I think that, back to the yin yang, that I think finding that harmony is the closest we can come, because there's no guarantees or definites, but, what you're saying of that enlightenment, I feel, is when the harmony is reached and inner peace is restored, because we are on earth. We have earth bodies. We can't really maintain just a spiritual existence on earth because we need to take care of ourselves and take care of our bodies. And so that harmony, in my opinion, is the closest we can come to, quote unquote, perfection. And so the yin yang for me is more very similar to what you're saying, and the material carbon-based life form that we are, and then the soul and the spirit that is our life force and sparks us into movement. And it also is a reflection of the sun and the moon, and the sun is always shining and the earth spins, and that shining is shining somewhere on earth at all times, and the moon is the reflection of the sun. So there's that production of the light, and then there's the reflection of the light. So that's also a balance that changes and fluxes every month, and the cycles that the moon goes through is very different than the cycles of the sun. So there's just many elements to the yin yang, and in my mind's eye, I'm picturing how harmony is the yin yang we're all used to seeing in art or as a symbol, but the yin yang in reality is probably in motion and also in flux, like the cycles, where sometimes the light is bigger than the dark, and the dot is smaller or bigger,
right,
like true. It's like this moving,
Yeah. I mean,
I can see it in my mind, but I can't really.
Just individually. I mean, there are moments when I am completely unaware of my spiritual nature. In those moments, I tend to really be suffering. But it's like, it's a continuum. It fluctuates. Sometimes I'm more aware, less aware, more aware. And ultimately, this awareness, by the way, I want to say it's a transcendental kind of experience where I'm not even necessarily thinking about it, but just if I can be in the flow, then I think subconsciously I am just aware of spiritual reality. Without thinking about it, without holding that concept in my mind. Sometimes just not holding any concept in the mind and just being present, like this deep present flow state is probably the deepest transcendental state I could get in.
Yeah, the flow. The flow is such a amazing subject all by itself, and all the studies that have been done on how to get in the flow. One thing that my Taoist medical Qigong teacher talks about is how the first step to flow is to stop multitasking. I just think that's so funny because I think in our culture there's definitely value on multitasking, but this idea of flow and lack of multitasking is very intriguing to me, and just putting your focus on one thing at a time and honoring that time with that focus.
Yeah. I mean, when I think of flow, I mean, the first couple things that pop into mind are like some great athletic performance.
Absolutely.
So I imagine, catching a football, running, jumping, catching a football, and definitely just being completely immersed in that moment. And being well trained, and the body's responding effectively, and boom, there's definitely no multitasking going on there.
Right.
Or playing music and being in that flow when there's no multitasking there. music can be difficult if my mind is like wandering around, freaking out. You know, oh, what are those people thinking? And oh, what's happening over there? What's happening? And then if I get into that place, then I'm kind of out of the flow, and the music doesn't sound as good.
That's interesting because I feel like maybe multitasking is also another continuum because, when I'm playing the keys and singing and trying to remember the words and thinking about the attack on the keys.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
There's a lot of multitasking going on.
But it's all around the same thing, which is the song.
It's one focus.
Yeah, but if you started thinking about other things like, how's my hair look right now? And then you play then you hit the keyboard too hard.
Totally.
It's like you mess up. I mean, but that's part of the deal. That's part of the thing too. And that's one of the reasons I really love music, because it really helps me identify where I'm at. Because if I'm in that flow, I feel like it's a more soulful expression. I'm just trying to soulfully express myself in this moment. But if I'm not in the flow, then it turns into like more of an ego trip.
Oh, sure.
And then that it's like, it's not as beautiful. The music is not as beautiful. And it's like, it's just more rigid and, less nuanced.
And the best way to get in the flow with music is be so well practiced and rehearsed that you can relax a little bit.
Well, and you can
while you're actually performing.
And you can identify, I think I've played enough music now where I can identify when I am in that zone or in the flow. Yeah. And then I can also identify when I'm not, right? But just that knowing is helpful.
Yes. Yes. And I think that, keep coming back to the yin yang, I think that is why it is such a huge symbol for that culture and that mindset, is when we are aware of our shadow and our light and how these things interplay, we're more capable of navigating. Because without awareness, we're just blown by the wind, and that's a flow of its own, right? Is that naivete, but conscious flow is different.
Well, it's interesting because the whole conscious idea to get into the flow, we need to transcend the thinking.
Right.
And that's the trick. It's kind of challenging, especially in this world. People desperately, I believe like deep down, we all deeply want to get into that flow, and we chase after it. And we some people, that's why, you jump out of an airplane with a parachute, because they talk about like,
thrill,
just singular like focus.
Yeah.
Here I go, jump, yeah. Oh, it's freak out, but it's like just completely immersed in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's like freeing. It's freeing. People jump out of an airplane with a parachute on to free themselves of everything for at least moments, minutes. And I'm still having that image of the fluxing yin yang, and we are in this time, just kind of tying other things back into what you had said earlier. We're in this time of immense information and misinformation, and it's really, really draining to even try to figure out what is information and what is misinformation. Yeah.
And when I think about that, the black part of the yin yang is just so big, and the white part is so small. And I feel like when we're that out of balance, it just feels yucky inside, and how to get back into balance where we can be more aware of our intake of information, be more aware of our allegiance to information, and what is where should our allegiance lie? And I think that is in the individual being, and that balance of the material and the spirit, and working towards that balance continually. And we're going to get off track, and we're going to, that's the whole idea of seeing it so animated and fluxing with the flow of life. But at the end of the day, coming back into that balance, coming back into, one of my funny little theories that I've had my whole life, that, well, as an adult at least, is that we're all aliens because our souls are not from Earth.
Well,
and so we borrow these Earth bodies, but we're animated by something not from here.
Yeah.
And technically, that would be an alien.
Well, I don't know. I think it's calling God an alien, but...
who knows, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, nobody...
what is the definition of alien?
Right.
Extra, or, ET, extraterrestrial life form.
Yeah.
I guess maybe because our bodies are made of Earth, that does erase that. But I don't know. But it's just something, that has always kind of been a inside joke of my own.
Yeah, that's right.
That I giggle at life when people are like, the aliens are coming. It's like, we're already here.
Right.
I crack myself up, But I do want to say before we play our first song that the songs we're playing today are from our recent show at the Harvest Parade. And it was such a fun show, and it was so fun to have the community come out and gather and in the joy of, or in the name of joy and the name of gathering.
In the name of community. Friendliness towards each other.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
And progress. And
in the park.
Yeah.
And around with the trees.
Celebrating nature and celebrating the harvest.
Celebrating the seasons. And kind of grateful for all that the summer has brought, and
grateful
celebrating
for each other.
Yep. And our own maturity and growth of the season of summer and spring. And here we are meeting again in the fall, and, and then it'll be kind of more the internal time of winter. But for now, it's the time of celebrating the harvest. And I think that it was just so fun. It was such a good time to see who came out, and the parade itself is always such a joy to where we help out with organizing the music and the event at the park. And so it's always fun to see the people or the parade arrive. You can hear them coming, and the excitement builds, and here they come.
I'll just describe it quickly for people who don't know what the Harvest Parade is. It's a parade where people make their own costumes, essentially, and they're
Puppets.
all like, there's people, big puppets like that are birds and animals and
mushrooms, trees.
There's some drumming and music, and I don't know, it's this beautiful event that happens in Viroqua every year. It's highly unusual. It's very different than any other parade I've ever seen.
Foot-powered.
Yeah.
Or I guess there's some bicycles.
Yeah, but it's very sweet and very homegrown and very... Then we follow that with music at the park all afternoon into the evening, and it's a great event, and we're a part of that. Mindflow Radio is a part of that. I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for the event. And shout out to Denise Samanchin for being the leader.
Yeah, the dreamer, the one that created the vision.
Yeah,
carried it out. Called the team together. There's a whole team. It's very, very cool to see how many people come together to make it happen. And
Yeah, it's a great event.
WDRT was a very big part of it usually is, but this year was really cool with the PA, and Jay Hoffman did the sound, and
Thank you,
he's
Jay.
a fellow DJ at WDRT.
And a musician.
And a musician, yeah, for sure. So it just felt like very interconnected, and it was a great parade and a great show. So
Yeah.
please enjoy, and we will be sharing some more in a few minutes. All right, we're gonna go on a journey.
Here we go. 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 of circles, inside of circles, inside of circles, inside
inside of circles, in the flower of life, the flower of life. Streaking past the heavens,
Infinity to the far reaches of our minds and beyond, streaking past the heavens to forever.
thank you for riding with Mindflow Radio. Please stay seated until we come to a complete stop. Thank you for flying, and we hope you fly with us again soon.
All right. Thank you. And we're back. I'd like to talk a little bit about balance. So we're talking about yin yang.
Yeah,
It's like a balance thing. And
absolutely.
I've been working with this idea of first principles psychology. You know, what are the first principles of psychology? The foundational principle of psychology is the mind. And from my perspective, it's finding balance in the mind is key to psychological wellness. If we don't have balance in the mind, we're lost and we have more anxiety and depression and all the negative psychological aspects are fed when our mind is out of balance. Mm-hmm. So what does balance in the mind mean? And one way to look at it, I think an accurate way to look at it, is if we're able to find that flow state or that peace just periodically throughout the day in our minds, moments of peace, moments of quiet, moments where the mind transcends the chattering, moments when the mind is not ingesting data. Like when I'm looking at my phone, my mind is eating information. Mm-hmm. But if I can find moments just throughout the day where my mind is quiet and just present, then my mind is in balance. And it's much easier for me to, when my mind is in balance, it's much easier for me to embody that yin-yang reality of, I am a spiritual being having a temporary human experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just feeling that in my bones, not even necessarily intellectually stating it. Intellectually stating it is helpful, but ultimately the goal is to just have that as part of my subconscious belief system. And so it just happens when I find stillness. And then
it's like the reset.
Yeah, it can be a reset. Ideally, I'd like to live in that place. Mm-hmm. Let that be my primary state of consciousness. Mm-hmm. And I don't necessarily think that's true right now, but at least I know it's there, perhaps for the taking eventually.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably a work in progress. That's a part of Earth School, as I like to call it, or the Earth Game, and in yoga, there's a saying called Jiva Mukta, and the idea is that most of us figure it out on our deathbed, but it is possible to figure it out beforehand, and that's calling becoming awake before death, Jiva Mukta.
Oh, cool.
So, that's the goal that many of us have who are on spiritual quests in this life is to awaken before the deathbed.
Okay.
Because, you don't get to really enjoy it if you're actively leaving this world.
Right, because it does bring peace.
Yeah.
Once we realize that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also brings a lot of clarity into our minds, which makes us more effective,
Mm-hmm.
which helps us navigate more effectively through this complex culture, which can just enhance the quality of our lives if we're really effectively engaging with our purpose and our dharma. And that can feel good.
Yeah.
And then we help others. I mean, my personal goal is to improve myself, so I feel better. So it helps myself, it helps my family, it helps my culture, it helps my society, it helps all of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, just like one mind finding more balance at a time I believe makes a big difference.
Oh,
which is
absolutely.
it's really a different perspective, because I've been trained to believe like that one person can't do anything. They were essentially powerless unless we, find
collective.
Yeah. So it's like networking, the collective comes first, but I don't believe that anymore. I believe actually my mind is more powerful than I understand, and if I can really hone that, then I can make a difference, and the collective will just naturally emerge out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like working on the self, and then that leads to networking with similar-minded people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree with that. One thing that's coming up for me as you're talking and still thinking about this yin-yang idea is that when we honor the balance of light and dark and not trying to be all light, that we actually get to achieve that peaceful stillness, because it's an attainable goal, and the more light there is, the darker the shadow is, and you can see that when you go outside and you're standing in the sunlight and you look behind you or in front of you, depending on what direction you're standing, and there's your shadow, and it's very detailed, and you can move your arms and the shadow moves with you, And the other piece of October is Halloween, and that the shadow play and the veils getting thin on the other world, the other side of things. People say
like the spirit world.
Yeah, people say you can speak. Reach your ancestors. That's the Day of the Dead is November 1st usually.
Oh, okay.
But I was just thinking about that and how when we honor the balance, we honor, if you think of part of us is our lineages and our ancestors, and if we can honor them, maybe not by regurgitating all of their half wisdoms, or just doing what they did because that's what they did, but becoming authentic, but honoring where we came from, that in itself leaves the balance available, attainable, because, some modalities just want to be the light and and I know that in some ways I prefer aiming for the light, but that's, I feel like for a lot of humans, there's so much dark that we can get swallowed by and lose hope and lose faith and lose our goals even, because the darkness can just swallow us. So we have to go towards the light.
Yeah.
But, just aiming for the light can really also put us out of balance.
Yeah.
So, finding that balance.
Yeah, right. I agree. And sort of reminds me of, like, the good news is that we all have the divine within us, and the bad news is that we're all confused to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Unless you're enlightened, in which case I apologize for saying that. Or most of us are confused.
Well, if you're
to a certain
enlightened,
degree.
you see it as comical anyway, and there's no need to be apologized to, you know? Like, the real enlightened people are so at peace that they're
Yeah.
so not offended by anything.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know. Maybe, yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't be enlightened if you get offended easily.
I did meet Ram Dass once. He seemed to be about, if I met an enlightened person, it was probably him. But then again, you just don't know. Sometimes I feel like if somebody is really in their dharma, that essentially they're enlightened to a certain degree.
Sure.
No matter what they're doing.
Yeah,
Sometimes I see somebody just, raking the gravel, and they're just totally in their dharma. And I'm like, okay, so they're enlightened over there.
Yeah, I think it's
just
momentary. I feel like, I'm pretty sure Eckhart Tolle even said that enlightenment is more of like a momentary.
Well, I think there's different
experience.
levels of enlightenment.
Sure, exactly.
too.
Yeah.
The highest level, you're probably there permanently, just like,
Yeah, and maybe there's very
halo,
few
got the
people
halo
like
and
that.
right. Well, now, but maybe someday there will be a lot of people.
Yeah,
like
who
that.
knows? We are
That's the idea,
moving
is
back
that-
towards the golden age.
Yeah,
So,
right.
I mean, talking about cycles inside of
Yeah.
cycles,
Yeah.
and the yugas is a very, very huge cycle that lots of people argue where we're at in the yugas, and so it depends on who you follow or
Well,
who.
what is a yuga?
Oh, I don't even know, like 12,000 years or something like
Okay,
that.
it's a yoga.
It's a yoga
term.
Yeah, it's a
for-
cycle. The cycles
for a number of years. Yeah,
Yeah.
we cycle
and
in and
the
out.
cycle of years is also not a fixed number. Like, I think the Kali Yuga is way bigger than other yugas. But the point is, the Kali Yuga is the furthest away from the Golden Age. And the Golden Age is when, kind of what you're saying, when there's more enlightened beings and more just love and peace, and everybody's getting along and taking care of each other, and the golden age. And I mean, there was a golden age at one point in human history, long time ago.
It's interesting. Well,
and we're moving back towards it. So you're right. There will most likely be more enlightened beings walking around.
and I just want to say, as far as that golden age, as far as Chinese history goes, there was like a period of time when in China everybody was sort of in harmony with each other, and everybody got along, and there were different some like the rich people and the poor people got along, and they communicated with each other, and they helped each other out, and it all worked out, and that was. So
Benevolence.
maybe that was
Benevolence was the
honoring each
ruling.
other, not like, oh, that person's rich so they're bad, or that person's poor so they're bad.
Right.
But just like seeing the divine in everybody, and it's like, oh, we're all just playing our role here. And
Yeah, and if you
let's be kind to each other. Let's take care of each other.
If you look at that and then compare it to the yoga cycles, it's very similar. That golden age during China was also very similar.
Well, and it's like the age of Aquarius. That's what you're talking about, is moving towards the age of Aquarius. And perhaps I've heard people talk about now being the dawning of the age of Aquarius, and I tend to believe that. And it seems like there's a general feeling amongst a lot of people that, oh, it's time to get along with each other.
Yeah, I think that we're
it's time to
far
stop
enough
judging. It's
out
time
of the
to,
dark ages.
See the divine in all of us and move in that direction. And there's this thing called the conscious community out there that is like this huge network of people. It's probably worldwide who believe in the value of each of us, I guess, and the divine
Doing their best.
Yeah. I mean, we all, have ups and downs, struggles, but maybe we are moving towards that. Maybe it is the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
I mean, the Aquarian age is where we actually take care of each other and we stop going to, the perpetual war machine would stop.
Yeah. I think
that kind of thing.
I think that really it's important to just remember how big these cycles are. And I've heard the argument of, well, we've never been able to figure it out, so we probably won't. And it's like, well, these cycles that I'm speaking about are way older than America or even Europe,
Right.
And so we don't, just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't.
Right. That's really like...
or that it really hasn't happened, because I think it has happened in the past.
That's it.
And we just don't have good records of it,
Yeah. And this idea of... Yeah, and that's the way people treat like the whole concept of war. It's like, oh, we'll always be at war. That's like the intellectual like professor will say that a lot of the time, and it's like, oh, if you don't think we'll always be at war, they think you're naive.
Yeah. Well, I would like to give a couple tips before we close, because it's almost...
I know, but I'm just in the middle of this.
Yeah. Okay.
Thing. I can't stop right.
All right, go for it.
And I would suggest that, like you said, if we could just open our minds to the possibility that we can evolve past like perpetual warfare, that's distinctly possible.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I absolutely
to not
agree.
understand that is, I would consider that just like a false use of logic. And
Yeah, I guess that's where I want to share my tip, and that's just being very mindful of the information being ingested. And, I feel like in this day and age in our culture, it's very difficult to even sort out what is a good source of information. And, people argue about their sources of information being more correct than the next person's. And I feel like what it really comes down to is there's just too much information. And if we give ourselves that stillness that you were speaking of, and give ourselves that quiet time and that grounding back into the reality that, our physical presence here is very connected to the earth that nurtures us through, our eating and drinking and the recycling of energy. And so I feel, breathing. Oh my gosh. And if you think about energy is not created or destroyed, we're breathing the same air that all the people of all the past that have ever lived on earth have breathed. And to just let yourself enjoy that and find joy in the little things, such as breathing or, taking your shoes off and feeling the earth. Just we've put too much importance on media and information and not enough importance on just being at peace in the body. And so that's my tip for finding your balance with your own inner yin yang this month.
Yeah.
And working with the fall colors and the cooling evenings and the longer nights, and just take time to not ingest information.
Yeah, right. I mean, and to take that to run with that idea, it's something I've been playing with for years, is media fasting. And just like consciously, I'll take a break. Like I'm on a media fast right now, which means I stay away from the mass media completely. And also I stay away from social media, because social media tends to be just mass media light. I think, just like it's the same information that just keeps getting debated and circulating. it's just very refreshing and exciting to take a break from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been noticing myself, I can be really addictive and addicted to it. I mean, I can just like, oh, look at the phone, and my body just grabs the phone and, it starts pushing buttons and moving my fingers in weird directions. But once I interrupt that, and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to go on a media fast now. And I pretty much do this every week. I'll take at least a couple days off a week. At least I shoot for that. Mm-hmm. And ideally, I'd like to take most days off of the mass media because, like you said, it just clutters my mind with a lot of useless information and
or confusing.
Well, it's confusing or it's upsetting.
It could be debated if it's useless or useful. It's
Well, on some level it's useful, but believe me, if I looked at the news for 1 hour a week, every week, I could probably catch up on everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, but just like needing to hear the same debate, the same news story, all day, every day. It's crazy making in a way, literally.
Yeah.
It's literally really crazy making. And
not good for health.
No, there's no peace. It's terrible for the mental health. There's no peace in that. And then we feel agitated and out of sorts and out of balance. And then what do? We have the tendency to just blame others. And we blame the news, whatever we're, honing in on. And in reality, we need to clear our minds, find our dharma, our purpose, and engage with that fully and help humanity.
Yeah. If it weren't for Monty, I wouldn't know anything that's going on. But I'm not so into the media. It's just, like you said, I'm almost positive if I just looked at it for an hour a week, I wouldn't really miss much. So I feel like for people who really are working on finding that inner balance, it has to be a very small slice because it's not in my everyday world, If I can't shake your hand and you're not in my sphere, then, it's just kind of hard to fathom that I need to know that. And, I feel like before there was internet, it was just a much simpler world, And now to get a phone line in your house is like a huge deal. It's our technology has surpassed all of our ways of the past, and we're in this new realm that there's just no understanding of the value of the speed we're going and how does it increase or decrease our health and well-being. And so I'm just of the mindset of just hone back in to me because I am important to me and I need to take care of me.
Well, and ultimately we want to use technology to, improve the world. And we want to use it rather than it using us.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
All these players who want to control us and take our money and trick us and whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just a part of the deal with our culture. Mm-hmm. But if we use it effectively, we can make the world a better place. If we don't use it effectively, it could essentially destroy our world, really. And so now is a time when we individually just have to make these, figure out how we want to use it. Mm-hmm. Do we want to be in control of it, or do we want to let it be in control of us? Mm-hmm. I like the idea of personal agency and freedom.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And just moving in that direction.
Yeah. And I think my last point, I know we're about out of time, is that if we take that time to train ourselves, if you think about somebody who's really confident, like really confident, not pretend confident, they generally are, strong of body and mind. So whether they're a martial artist or they work out regularly or they run or they bike a lot, they have this trust in their body that they'll know what to do when they need to do something. And so you don't have to work your mind so hard on how to be safe if you trust your body to navigate life properly.
Well, and there's plenty of people out there who maybe their bodies aren't functioning fully, who are
Right.
still plenty strong in their minds.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
very effective. And people like that can really change the world to be a better place.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes all kinds, I think, is the bottom line there. And honoring each other and honoring ourselves is super important.
Well, and honoring our minds,
honoring our minds.
I believe is important, because our minds are essentially some kind of gift, some kind of divine gift.
Mm-hmm.
And we can take it for granted, or we can use it to, we can explore its potential.
Mm-hmm. I like that. All right, my friends, community, neighbors out there in Radio Land, and please have a good month here in October. Enjoy the
Podcast land
leaves.
as well.
Yep. And y'all be well, and we'll be back in November.
Mindflow Radio.
I surrender my resistance to the soul. to the soul.